here with August Hill. Give it to me, Black Alloy. How's your day going?
My day is going good, can't complain. About 2 years ago was the birth of True to One as a name, as a group. True to One as a business started about a year ago, and it started with me and Paul. The first time me and Paul met was DC Groundings.
August and I met at the DC Groundings, you know?
Shout out to Shingo, who's actually a superior ally to True to One. His group is the
Gladiators, right? And so Shingo holds this event. I'm like, I'm gonna go to this event. It's pretty close by.
Shout out to the Brethren United, who actually put together the Groundings. See this guy there, and he's like,
Oh, is that the August Hill?
I'm like, yeah, it depends on who's asking. Later, I found out that this guy was Paul, and he had been following me for some time.
And I go there, I don't know anybody at all. And I just started following August like a month or two previous.
He started telling me about, how he liked my videos and how I edit and how I move. And then from there, that whole trip, DC trip, we was just ripping, man. I mean, we was on the same wavelength the whole time.
From that day forward, we became like best friends. We were talking every day. And True to One went from being like this club to being this movement.
So when we started it, the goal was to bring people together, and the goal was to advocate for a greener future. And the way we do that is we put these electric unicycles in front of people in a creative fashion through things like Sentience, which is, the brainchild of Paul, but something that I've been creating and working on adamantly. And so with things like that, we're able to put electric unicycles and micromobility in front of the world in a way that isn't controlled by the media, and it allows people to create their own perception of what electric vehicles can do. One of our biggest things is to advocate for going green and greenhouse emissions. We feel like the less cars there are, the more micro-mobility vehicles there are, the more space we have in our physical world, and the more cleaner our air is for our children. Man, we supported each other, we commented on each other's videos, we shared each other's videos. We didn't need to go to other services so that the electric unicycle can become a pillar on social media the way motorcycles are. And a year later, we have the phenomenon that you see now, where we got so many electric unicycle riders popping up with Insta360s that, we just can't be denied anymore. We got races being created. We got companies like Insta360 who's actually taken, an interest in us and provided us with cameras so that we can shoot certain things. Insta360 and GoPro are showing electric unicycles on their platforms.
So tell me what it's like to ride in this big city.
I mean, it's the best. Just being raised in the city, you're just kind of used to that quick pace. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is getting where they need to go. So when you get on a unicycle, it doesn't change much. It just becomes faster, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So when we ride through the city, when we're lower Manhattan tends to get, around certain times tends to get really packed. What we like to say is to find the gaps. We always advocate for safety, and New York streets is probably one of the most dangerous places to ride. Right? Like you ride here, you got your experience.
I agree.
Right? It's a thrill. Once you master it, you feel more comfortable, but it is very, very dangerous. So, when we have new riders like, John Tell, for instance, or Chrissy, when Chrissy started, we would ride in like a group of no less than 4 people, so that we are training this person and like keeping like a barrier around them so that they're able to learn how to navigate traffic, but do it safely to where they're not in danger of being hit or being ran over. We train on what to look for. When you're riding in New York, you gotta look up and look down. You can't just look straight, because then you look straight and you see a car, stopping right in front of you, but then you also, you got to get out the way, and then you got to see on the side, on the floor, there's a manhole right there. Things like this is things that, this is the reason why we tell people to, when you start, to take your time, progress. There's different streets that you take, there's different levels of streets, there's so much, geography that you can progress in your own pace, you know, 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. And it's something that I did too. You know, with the Monster Pro, you know, I rip through the streets, you know, I record myself now. But it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work to build myself, even to go 25 miles an hour on the Pro.
Right.
When I started, what I would do is I would do unnecessary turns around things when I'm not in danger, right? When there's no danger and I'm learning 15 miles an hour, I'm like, oh, you know, you're doing little dips and dives and a little carves and you're going around potholes that you don't necessarily need to. Those are the type of things that prepare you, you know, because it's better to develop, you know, that outside of dangerous situations than to be in a dangerous situation and realize that you don't know how to do it properly. Number one, being aware of your surroundings. Number two, not going faster than you need to go. Three, of course, and this is not in any particular order, but three is to make sure, you know, you have gear on. That would be my biggest advice, just to take your time and progress and trust the process.
Hey, what's up, Flame?
What's going on?
Tell me who you are and what an electric unicycle means to you.
My name is Chantel, aka The Flame, but you can call me Flame. And an electric unicycle means everything. It's my way of travel, it's my way of freedom, it's my way of life.
What wheel do you ride at night?
I ride a Nikola AR Plus, and to be quite frank, I ride it because I like the lights. The lights look really pretty and appealing to me, so I said that was the one. And once I realized it had a speaker, that was it for me, because I need music to ride.
What is your day-to-day life like in UC, and what is your favorite part?
My day-to-day life with an EUC is very spontaneous. I can wake up and decide I'm gonna go to Harlem that day. Mind you, I live in Brooklyn, so on the train or with a car, Harlem is very, very far. But for me, I can be anywhere at almost any time, and that freedom is exactly why I love the EUC. And the mobility. I will say, I've never felt more comfortable on a vehicle, because I know that if something were to happen or to jump out at the last second, I have the ability to move out of the way, just be able to maneuver. I wouldn't feel that comfortable on a bike. I wouldn't feel that comfortable on a scooter. No disrespect. But the EUC, you can just move like no other vehicle. I feel like New York City riders are as strong as we are, just because you have to be calculated. You have to be calculated, you've got to be precise, you have to be aware. And I say all the time, riding in New York is like riding in a simulated video game. This is my dog, AJ. Technically August's dog, but I've claimed AJ as my dog. Our dog.
When did you first cross paths with True to One?
I first crossed paths with True to One technically through August. I was getting to know August and what he was about, and when he started teaching me on his Monster Pro, I just kind of adopted and got to know a lot of the riders. And naturally, just by being around him and learning from him, I started to be more involved with True to One organically. So I was introduced to True to One through August. True to One means to me exactly its meaning, which is true to oneself. I've never felt more like myself than when I'm on a wheel. And when I found the wheel, I found myself. We have a beautiful community. I've never felt more a part of something. The moment I went to my first gathering with True to One, I had never met anybody. I'd never met anyone, and I felt so welcome. Everyone came up to me, gave me a hug, said it's nice to meet you. And I had never felt that before. And for the first time, I can say I'm a part of something that I want to be a part of for the rest of my life.
unicycle means to you?
So, my name is James, Cold Brother on Instagram. I ride a variety of wheels. Right now, I have an EXN and I have a Commander.
How did you get into riding an electric unicycle? What is your origin story on an EUC?
After I did the math and I saw how much I was spending, I was like, I need to find something that I can just buy. First, I got I got a Razor scooter. I started kind of looking quickly, briefing over a couple of things that was motorized, and I didn't really want to do kick pushes either. So I saw a 9-bot. I got myself one for my birthday, and I sat there with it for a few days. Actually, more like a month or two, just looking at it, trying to get up the courage to just take it outside. I took it outside and I was like a newborn deer. I couldn't ride at all. Like, I'm kind of like wide-eyed and trying to figure it out, holding on to things. And before you know it, I got good at it, and then I started meeting other people.
What is your day-to-day life like with an EUC, and what is your favorite part?
Day-to-day life with a unicycle, it's definitely feels like a lot more freedom. A lot of get up and go places and do things. It doesn't actually cost you any extra. Don't have to deal with the hurdles of trains and buses or cabs or anything. Even whether you have to just turn on your car, using gas, parking, all the stop and go. With a unicycle, it's just like, you get on, go where you gotta go. What better way can you, kind of enjoy your day-to-day, than saving your money and your time, and enjoying the freedom of also being able to just kind of get places where you gotta go so conveniently.
When did you first cross paths with True to One?
Demo day.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for the OG Sherman. I think I had a Monster V3 at the time, and August had a V11. We just met each other and we clicked, and we started riding with each other every other day or every day, and we've been just pretty cool ever since. No problem, But True to One, I like them as a group of people because they're not necessarily trying to be tough guys. We're just individuals just trying to enjoy the freedom and just enjoying the whole movement, together, and that's what we have most in common, is our love for the unicycle.
What does True to One mean to you?
True to One means an opportunity to be amongst people who are as enthusiastic about the unicycle and the unicycle lifestyle, and the freedom of the unicycle lifestyle. And I was very enthusiastic about it when I first learned about it, and I didn't learn about it watching other people come and zooming down the street. I learned just being interested in something of a mobility to save money and time. I've been doing it for about 5-6 years now, and every day that I ride, there's someone new who haven't never seen it, and they're very enthusiastic, and they're stop me in the street and they give me a salute, and they say, I love the way that I see you on this thing, and I enjoy that too. So True to One is all of those things that you can share with a group of like-minded people and responsible individuals, an opportunity to express that freedom with other people.
All right, tell me who you are and what an electric unicycle means to you.
So I'm Turbo. On Instagram, I'm Turbo EUC NYC. I've been riding EUC for about 3.5 to 4 years.
What wheel do you ride and why?
Right now, I have with me an EXN high speed, and at home I have a Sherman, OG Sherman with around 38,000 miles on it. My prized possession. That's my baby, never getting rid of it. I love that wheel, all in the city too, so
Yeah.
city miles.
How did you get into riding electric unicycle, and what is your origin story on an EUC?
My first PVE was a Meepo V2 because my son, he had brain cancer and he was going through chemo, so I had to figure out a different way to commute to work without getting on any public transportation. So I got myself a board. A week later, I was in Central Park and I met this guy named Leo. Brought out his Tesla. And I'm like, what is that? I was like, no, I've never seen this in my life. I asked him to try it. I surprisingly got on it, rode 10 feet without falling. I was like, I need to get one. 2 days later, I went on e-wheels and bought myself a Kingsong 18XL, which I rode that for around 7,000 miles before upgrading.
All right, tell me who you are and what an electric unicycle means to you.
Chrissy, also known as EUC Fairy. I like my EUC mainly because I can get around in half the time. I used to love to walk and I was like, oh, this is my preferred method of like getting to work. But now I get to work in 15 minutes versus 40, so.
What wheel do you ride and why?
I ride a Nikola. Why? Because Turbo bought it for me.
I love it.
Honestly, I didn't have much of a choice. He was like, someone's selling a used wheel. Do you want it? Yes or no? I said yes. He came home with my wheel. So.
Do you feel like it works for what you need?
Yes, it's a great learning wheel. I also love to carve. It's one of like my favorite things to do, and everyone tells me it's the carving wheel.
Yeah.
It's also super durable.
Yes.
So I've dropped it a buttload of times.
How did you get into riding an electric unicycle, and what is your origin story on an EUC?
Well, I'm Turbo's wife, as a lot of people know. Kind of live in his shadow now, trying to make my own name out there for myself. But basically, what got me really into riding was this past year, after the pandemic, like the city went apeshit, and we were having all these like mass shooting on the subway systems, and then with COVID, and I didn't feel like being confined to like a small cart underground, not knowing what was gonna happen, or whether I was gonna bring some type of new bug into the house and get my kids sick. So that really kind of pushed me into getting to learn how to ride.
Go first.
You go first.
All right, so my day-to-day life, I put on around 80 to 150 miles, depending on how busy it is. If you're asking why, I do deliveries on this. For the last 3 years, I've been mainly doing deliveries to provide for my family. I used to be an electrician as a foreman, but as you know, my son had brain cancer, so it was hard taking time off from work. I'm making more doing deliveries and having fun at it at the same time. So I feel like I wouldn't be able to live without one of these, to tell you the truth.
For me, it's just I only work part-time. I mostly use my wheel just for commuting. I do like to have fun, but I like to mostly, because I like carving so much and just like zipping through, I like to ride in Central Park a lot because for me, it's more of a controlled environment. I ride in the streets only with him and during group rides, or if I really have to, but between like the horrible streets we have, the potholes, and just like how crazy people drive, I hate riding in the streets.
So I crossed paths with True to One. I knew August before True to One. He showed a lot of dedication to the community. For me, it's also community building, showing, introducing more people to the outside world, to EUCs. Like, a lot of people look at these and they're like, that's dangerous. Like, you're on one wheel traveling at 40 plus miles an hour. It's really not that dangerous. It's all how you ride and how, if you put yourself in that dangerous position.
But I was, just for the girls out there that want to ride, you don't have to go 40. So that's what I'm trying to show girls in the community, because a lot of girls are intimidated because the guys are always going 35 plus. And yeah, there's some girls who could do that, but not everybody wants to. So hopefully we're bringing more people in the community and we can show them that you don't have to ride 40 plus too. Speed isn't everything. Yeah, speed isn't everything on the EUC.
That's a Wolf. Everybody called me Wolf. EUC to me is a way of life. It became a way of life for me. It's definitely the future.
Yeah.
What I can say honestly is it's the future to me.
Yeah.
I can't fathom no other way of getting around transportation with style, edge. You know what I'm saying? You still get that thrill. Still feel like you're on a motorcycle. Maybe go my own person. If y'all don't know me by now, like if y'all don't know, I got the purple monster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I call it Lotus. It's my baby girl. Like, I love rain. I don't like to really worry. And I needed something that's going to withstand the weight. Withstand my weight. I'm a big dude. I'm like 217. At first, I didn't like it. You see, what? How fast it go? And then once I found out, like, I ran into a couple of dudes because I was a boarder.
Yeah.
Started out with a board, depot, and stuff like that. And I started coming to group rides, and then I started seeing more unicycles. But these distinctive people like August, Live. They Live. Like the Live was the first one I saw when I first seen somebody getting busy in traffic. Like, so I met Live. I seen Live riding it, and then after Live, I met August. His style of riding was different from everybody else. He was seated. He was killing the game of seated. I'm like, yo, this is like and that's what changed my perspective too. Also on it, so I'm like, it's like a mini motorcycle. I thought that it was gonna be part of the arsenal. But once I got into it and I rode the RS, I never wanted to look back. Like I said, I feel like I gained life back, some of my life back, time back. Exactly, you know, that feeling of freedom and flying and can be at any place, any time. Comparable. Can't go without riding. I can't. I have to ride. It's definitely therapeutic. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Even that when I come home from work, that ride back home from work be like, yeah, sometimes I don't want to go in the house. I mean, right in front of the house. You. I'm the energy. They always say I come with the energy.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's pushing everybody. I'm coming with that. Let's go. We riding. We outside. Like, you know, I'm raising.
You bring the vibes, bro.
You
do. So what does True to One mean to you?
True to One means to me is a family. That's what it means to me, honestly. True to yourself. True to who you are. Like I said, be authentic and be the best you. True to One is positivity.
Yeah.
A positive energy of beings who love unicycle, electric unicycles.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Electric
we just
unicycles.
want to spread the community.
Yep. Spread the community, spread the love, spread this new way of life. Like, I can't see myself going back. Join the movement. That's it. Join the movement. There's True to One in the building.
Yeah.
It's your boy Wolf.
Yeah.
You out of here?
So tell me who you are and what an electric unicycle means to you.
Jonathan. A lot of people call me Live. And what an electric unicycle means to me, basically it's the wheel of life, the circle of life. And that means everything to me. Do jobs on this thing, helps me travel, helps me get to places that I need to be. That's important. And it's been great help and it's been a great improvement in my life.
Yeah.
One of the best forms of transportation, to my knowledge, that I've experienced. Right now I'm personally riding a 100-volt Nikola 2700 watt-hour AR from Alien Rides. And it's a great speed, great mileage, and it's great for what I do, so I enjoy it very much. It's allowed me to do things that I was never able to do and allowed me to push myself and experience things. And it all started with electric skateboards. It started in that PEV area, personal electrical vehicles, bikes, electric skateboards, you know, mainly those two subjects I was always interested in. I started on electric skateboards and then got introduced to Kung Fu Tea HQ headquarters and was then introduced to an electric unicycle and I fell in love with it. And ever since then, I've been riding. My favorite part about riding electric unicycles is riding safely around New York City and trying to get through the obstacles that New York provides all the time, because you know New York is a struggle. As far as I've known August, we've always been, you know, talking about an idea of putting a group together, you know, and he ran with it and he got True to One together and he involved me in the situation, which I'm highly appreciative of him. He's always been a good friend to me and as a brother, and I love him. I was always around and I was probably one of the main members that got involved when we first started the group. True to One. True to One is love, respect, unity, peace, recreation. It's about giving one another a chance at doing what we love to do best and actually benefit off of it some way, somehow, by working together as a team. And as long as we're focused on that and continue practicing that, things will continue to flourish. You know, like I said, I wish nothing but peace, love, and blessings to True to One. I love everybody that's in it. You know, I don't have anything against anyone. I want everybody to shine and do what they have to do best, and that's what they love, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to True to One, definitely. Yeah. Stay true to yourself, man, so you can stay true to others, yo.
Tell me who you are and what an electric unicycle means to you.
My name is August, aka Black Elroy, and electric unicycle means time to me. So first of all, I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Harlem. I currently live in New Jersey in Bayonne, but I also have a spot in Brooklyn. And just to be able to navigate the two in an unimaginable time because of the electric unicycle, it changed the game. It just means time. It means getting time back. It means being able to be where I want to be, when I want to be there. You know, as people, you know, as humanoids, we have a very short, you know, life on this planet. So to be able to take that back is huge.
What wheel do you ride and why?
My V11 is in the shop, and I also have the S18, courtesy of Rev Rods. But I ride the Monster Pro, which is right here. I ride this to do everything. Right now, I use the Monster Pro to travel from Jersey to New York. I work in Lower Manhattan, so the Monster Pro does it all for me. I ride, sometimes I go across the bridge, sometimes I take the highway, sometimes I take the bike paths.
How did you get into riding an electric unicycle? What is your origin story on an EUC?
So I used to live in the Bronx, and the Bronx, anyone who lives in the Bronx know that it's just far away from everything. So I spent a lot of time traveling on a train, you know, 2 hours when I had to come to the city because I worked in the city, and this is like 6 years ago. And when I would travel, you know, I would always think to myself, you know, I know there's a better way, there's an easier way to get, you know, to get around. And I was just sitting on the sidewalk, and, you know, I looked down the block, and, you know, I noticed this like ominous light. And it was too low to be anything that I recognized, and it was moving too fast to be anything that I recognized. And it was the first time that I've ever seen an electric unicycle. The next thing I did was YouTube it. So I YouTube electric unicycle. I seen how it looks, I seen how people navigate on it, and then I made the purchase. So what is True to One? It was one of my first viral videos on TikTok on my V11, and I posed a question. I said, what should I call my team? Just all of these unique names, but the one that stuck out to me the most was the name True to One. And the spelling was off, but the idea was there, and the name was born. And it represented not only true to one as in being true to yourself, it also represented being true to one wheel. You know, the idea, you know, as it grew was so people can take it and make it what they wanted, you know, what they wanted to be to make themselves progress in life, in family, in time. It was, you know, it started with me, Live, and James was like the core riders. And we rode everywhere. I mean, the rides we had, you know, in between traffic with no cameras on, you know, it was before we was just actually recording so much. To witness it is something different, you know, than to actually record. You know, it started with those core riders, and then, you know, people started to see that, you know, how we stuck together. They started to see how much of an individual each of us was, how we, you know, we constructed our wheels, the things that we put on, the things that we wore, the styles that we had. You know, that's kind of what made us, you know, who we are. You know, we looked at like superheroes to people, and, you know, True to One, it brings the fashion, it brings the edge, it brings the community, it brings the design, it brings a lot to the unicycle that wasn't there before. The concept of a unicycle is just like, you know, circus acts or nerdy or You know, so True to One kind of flipped that on his head. Now it's like, wait, riding a unicycle is actually cool. That's really what it's about. It's not about being the fastest or the coolest. It's about being who you are. You know, because everybody's an individual, and you know what's so dangerous in this world is that people are intended to be individuals, but the world pressures you to be like everyone else. You know, and it's what creates the drama and you know, the tribalism that actually exists. So, you know, True to One was meant to combat that, and I know that it has. You know, it really has. It brought people together and gave people, you know, a common cause. And though it's a baby right now, it's, you know, it's making serious waves, you know, in people's lives, in the world, and how people, you know, view micro-mobility. So, you know, True to One is taking on a life of its own, and I know that it's only going to grow with the, you know, with the team that, you know, we have in True to One. True to One started with community, and the community continues to grow and continues to build on each other. So I think the first thing, as far as what the future holds, is that the future holds a bigger community, bringing the world in towards a common cause. I think True to One can be that beacon of light that shows everyone that they can be individuals, but also work together towards a common goal, to be the biggest advocates for micromobility. It goes hand in hand with the community, because as we bring people in, whether they want to ride a unicycle or not, you know, we've converged into other PEVs, scooters, skateboards. We have riders that have bikes. It's such a new company. It's such an emergent market that we can really go anywhere we want with it. A vision that we have for True to One is a family-friendly environment. My daughter, she's 4 now, but she learned the electric unicycle at 3, and she's going to be 10 times better than me in just a couple of years. You know, so children, they want to do this. I think that there's dangers in anything. You know, when I was younger, I fell on the bike more times than I fell on the unicycle. Jontel is actually starting something that is going to, you know, really highlight the female element of, you know, electric vehicles, and that's something that I'm excited about, and it's something that, you know, that we look forward to in the future as True to One. The PEV community is expanding at an alarming rate. There's other groups, other factions that, you know, they put, you know, events and things together that, you know, allow people to come together and ride, and it's something that True to One is really want to start focusing on, to start being a part of these events and building the community as a whole, and not just the True to One brand. You know, True to One, as we develop, we start stepping into other areas that we can help other groups do things that we know and things that we learn, so that we can all progress into this future together. We also want to start focusing on community service, which is huge, and it's something that we want to wove into, like the rides that we have, like just the way we schedule a ride, spontaneous rides sometimes. You know, we want to be able to say, hey, listen, you know, this part of the neighborhood needs to be clean. Let's get everyone together. Let's go out there with our unicycles and let's have fun. You know.
Yeah, and people at home can do that too, in their own neighborhoods.
Yeah, exactly. Just seeing that kind of leadership is something that, you know, we want to bring to the table, for sure.
Let's go. Yeah.
What's it like to ride in Charlotte? You know, Charlotte's a great city to ride, man. It's like, the people are great, law enforcement understands, we're just trying to commute like everybody else. You got good bike lanes, you know. And the people, they're so kind. They're so, I would say they're always so fascinated. Like, oh, what is that? You know, what is that? I want to learn how, you know? And Charlotte's the kind of city, it's like I started, it was just me by myself in Charlotte, and now we got like 14 riders, you know, and that's the kind of people, and that happened in less than a year. So yeah, it's a great city. People are so good.
Tell me who you are and what electric unicycle means to you.
Yeah, so my name is Paul Engel, also known as Electric Airbender. And you know, electric unicycle means to me, it means freedom and self-expression in 2 words. That's it.
What wheel do you ride and why?
Well, I ride several wheels. My favorite wheel is the venerated Wheel of Titans, the Monster Pro. And so I ride that wheel because it does it all. I mean, I can sit on it like a motorcycle. I can stand on it like a smaller stand-up wheel that a lot of people ride. To me, it reaches the speeds I need. It goes the distance I need to go. It's stable. It's got a big wheel, 24-inch tire, and that like acts like a suspension, eats up all the bumps. Yeah, it does everything for me. So I got an electric unicycle, I think like a lot of people. I came from one wheel, and so I blew my knee out on a one wheel because, you know, we all know what that's like. So basically, I was sitting on the couch and I'm scrolling through YouTube, and I saw electric unicycles riding through the streets. I'm like, what is that? I have to have that. I ordered it. I couldn't even walk yet. And it got there. I'm still on crutches. It's in the box because I can't even take it out because I can't stand. And you know, finally I was able to get on it after like 3 months of sitting, you know? But that's how I came to find it. I ordered the RS High Torque. But that's how I started riding. So I got on it. I just kind of went along a wall. I kind of picked it up in about 30 minutes or so. I was able to totter around. And but really, it was just like from that day forward, I rode every single day if I could. And so this one right here is Xena, the warrior princess. Yeah. And she's got 9 lives and a loud fan too. Yeah. Can you hear that? My day-to-day life is on my wheel. Like, I commute 98% of the time on my wheel, unless I got to take multiple people or pick up a lot of stuff. I'm always on this no matter what. And so like how I get dressed in the morning it's like based on my lifestyle that I live. You know, I have to dress for the weather, but not too warm because I have to go inside. I gotta, you know, make sure I have my gear on and ready, and you know, then I hit the road and I go to a coffee shop in the morning time. And that's kind of like my me time in the day. It's before all the crazy starts. So I go to the coffee shop, I'll sit, I'll edit, you know, and it's funny because as I'm going in, I hop off my wheel at the door, I go in the door with my machine, I set it right next to me when I'm having a drink or whatever, and I'm editing. And then I, you know, get back on it, you know, and people, one of the best things about it, I think, is that people are so friendly and they want to talk. It's like, oh, what is that? And then you get to tell them. You know, and then in some way that enriches their lives. Most people have a smile on their face.
What is True to One?
True to One kind of breaks down those boundaries by basically saying, I respect all the way. Not only do I respect, but I glorify all that you are. You get to do the same for me, and we get to celebrate our differences without judgment. And then we all get to be together. It's true. It's being true to one by being true to yourself. You know, it could be true to one wheel, it could be true to yourself, it could be true to whatever that thing is. For me, I think the origin is really being true to oneself in order to break the boundaries of divide. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You know, a big initiative for us is going green and promoting micromobility, which is why we make videos at all. We make videos so that people can see that this is possible.
So what role do you play in True to One?
You know, I think my role is really like, I get to bring a lot of business training because I was in business before, so I bring a lot of that business acumen to True to One. I think I bring a vulnerability and therapeutic aspect in the sense that, you know, I have a lot of training in terms of therapy and stuff like that. Another role I could play is in terms of directions, like where are we going, what's working, what's not, you know, and just kind of serving as a little bit of a true north. Right over here in this alleyway, August was in town, right? First time he ever came out. And we were down here, we're gonna shoot some footage down here. We're like, oh, let's go ahead and shoot some footage. And so there's that famous video that everyone's seen, it's like gajillion views by now, went super viral, where August and I rode through all the motorcycles, right? 300 motorcycles going by. And so we just merged in, and that's how the video happened, where we were actually going, and we were splitting the motorcycles. It was pretty tight. You know, one of the things that means so much to me about True to One is the community. It's having brothers and sisters, you know, that's so beautiful. And to be honest, that's born out of August and I's friendship, our vision, and this real desire to bring the world together, you know? I've had a lot of really good friends and brothers in my life, and I don't think I've ever had a brother like August. I feel like we're cut from the same cloth, even though we have our differences, you know? And one of the most beautiful things about the friendship we get to have is that we have a cultural difference, we have a location difference, and man, I'm telling you, when we get together, it's like there is no distance and there is no difference other than what we get to celebrate inside of our friendship. I mean, again, I'm so fortunate. I feel so grateful to have the community I have now. Life within EUC, if I could really break it down, I feel like it's a life of presence, you know? You have to be present all the time, because if you're not, something bad could happen. I mean, inherently, of course, you know, there's not much room for error. You're on one wheel. And that being said, you know, I find it makes me be really present in life. You know, or I get to look around, I can smell things and hear things, you know? I have a visceral connection to what's going on around me. My family, we get to get on our PEVs and play all the way to where we're gonna be. And then we can park them right next to us and like have a nice lunch or something, you know? It's really cool. Something about families though, it's really interesting. It's like people will look at me and say, okay, all right, Paul, you got 5 kids, you got a wonderful partner, you got this life. Like, how can you justify putting your life on the line, right? That's why, for me, this is not a hobby. I'm not jumping on this on the weekend. This is a life that I live, and I train for it. I exercise for it, I train outside for it, I take time to train new skills, and I always stay aware and present, and in that way, I stay safe. So do your research. If you want to commute eventually, get one that can commute. If you want to just ride trails, get one that can ride trails, and it can also ride your neighborhood. You know, if you just want to stay in the park, or you want to like stay in your neighborhood, you know, you don't have to break the bank, get something simple, you know? But make sure you're doing your research on what you think you're gonna want in the future, not now. Most people, they'll buy a wheel or a machine and then they grow out of it and they have to buy another one. Join communities online. Learn as much as you can from people who already have gone before you. It's fun to get on your wheel, get geared up and go, right? And for me, I'd say, stop doing that so often and instead train. I have a saying for myself, I live this every day, it's no wasted miles. So even if I'm just going to the store, I'm training something. I'm training some move, I'm training how I can move around things. So get serious about your training, because if you don't take it seriously, when the time comes, you could really get hurt. You know, you could hurt yourself. And so you have to be responsible and train. If you're a brother, a father, a son, a mother, a daughter, it doesn't matter who you are. Being true to yourself is what we want more in the world. And it's not being selfish. True to One isn't being selfish. True to One is being true to the authenticity of who you are as a self-expressed human being in the world. If everybody were being true to themselves, they wouldn't care what that person's doing over there. What that person's doing is being true to themselves. And we can connect because we're different. And your difference is my difference, is our connection. True to One is for every group. You can be in a group and be true to one. You can be in Russia, you can be in Ukraine, you can be in China, you can be in America, name the place, and you can still be true to one, and the world needs more of that.
So my name's Rob. On the internet, you know me as Trophy Whoop. And I am just a normal random guy that likes to ride electric unicycles. I come from a skateboarding background, but I also have regular unicycling in my repertoire. I have about 20 years of experience. So it just kind of was like one of those things that I always thought would come, like electric unicycles, like when I was a kid. I just was like, you know what, this is my thing, this is a calling. It's something that like I didn't expect to find, but it like just works so well with me and like who I am. So I don't know, like when I was a kid, I had a heart condition, so it was called Kawasaki disease, and I had 3 aneurysms in my heart. Unicycling kind of ties into that because my phys ed teacher at the time in 5th grade actually heard about my plight that I couldn't do contact sports. So she introduced unicycling, and then from there I actually got invited by an art teacher who invited me to go and learn how to be a clown for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And then I did Mother's Day convoys, and I did some birthday parties and stuff on the side. But yeah, unicycling it's always been a part of my life. So like this new age of it, it's just like, it's amazing. And like making reels and content is just so much fun. So I ride an InMotion V11. The reason being was when I was looking at everything, I'm a skater, so I've already had damage, you know, my knees, my back. Suspension was the biggest thing, and it looked like it was one of the safer wheels. I ended up going with the V11 just based on reviews that I heard. It just seemed like a safe wheel to go with. And at the time, I wasn't really looking for the speed aspect of it because, you know, I'm not out there going fast or going the fastest I can. But it was a really good introduction wheel. It's 100% changed my life, changed my perception on how I travel and like what it actually means. Because like you take it in more, like you take in your scenery, whatever that may be. Out here, it's the country for us, you know. Typically, wake up, eat breakfast, and take care of my dog, Bud, and then I hop on the EUC and I ride to work, which is about a 15-minute ride. And my favorite part of that is literally just the scenery, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful scenery to take in. When I'm in a car, I'm not really taking any of that in. You know, I'm in a closed box. I'm not getting the wind feel. I'm not smelling anything. So it really changes how you really perceive getting different places, or even what it means to get to places. You get to see a whole like season as it goes by when you're riding. And I feel like when you're riding, you're so much closer to that. You have the ability to really take it in. So that's my favorite part, is just that connection to your area. Because it's no longer just this, you know, point A to point B. It's point A and everything in between. And like I really give it to like the True to One movement for being able to connect me with so many different people across the whole country, the whole globe, really. A lot of people are traveling and doing group rides and everything, and it's just such a cool feeling to know that if you would go to somewhere, you have a community where you could hit up and say, hey, I'm in this city, who's here, you want to ride? Right. And you get replies, and you get people that will meet up with you, show you the good food spots and everything. You know, it's just awesome. It's really cool. So I bought the EUC, and then a mutual friend connected me with Sean, and we basically hit it off right then and there. And that kind of was like, I had already been making like kendama content, but then I saw True to One and was introduced to it, and how people were like promoting the EUC riding and promoting themselves, and just kind of like making a new wave of things. You know, started following some of like the bigger names, like Electric Airbender and August Hill, and just seeing how cool they made it look. And it was like one of those things that I think was missing. It's good to have people that know how to ride do it, so that it's a good representation for everybody else. And I see it all the time with like some of the stuff that I post that people go, oh, why are you wearing so much gear? It's like, well, because in 10 years, I still want to be walking.
Right.
So I am kind of like video creation. Right now we're kind of in the early signs of that, you know, just baby steps, but very soon we're going to be walking into creating content, maybe even a podcast where we discuss EUC news, EUC content, reviewing wheels, interviewing riders, that kind of thing. So that's slowly coming together. It's been great ever since. I mean, meeting everybody, the DC ride, and yeah, it's been awesome. And I'm really excited for what the future is going to be. So true to one means like basically who am I true to when I wake up, when I go to sleep. You know, what am I doing in this life? And to be grounded in something and be truthful to that, I think is such a good basis to live your life. So true to one to me is kind of like a grounding. It's saying, hey, you know, we got this electric wheel that we're trying to change the future. You know, we're trying to change what's going on right now and get people to see that traveling and mobility can be so much different. And that aspect is hard to do in a world that is run by gasoline cars and a mentality of how you get around and everything. So like to be true to this different and this change, it's changed my life. It's changed my whole lifestyle, EUC in general, but true to one just being that community that gives me the confidence to keep going and also is friendly.
My name is Sean, aka Mono Auto. The electric unicycle means freedom, means life. It has changed the way I see the world. So I ride the Begode Monster Pro. I ride this wheel because I do some commuting on 30, 35 mile per hour roads and kind of want to just make sure I keep up with traffic and also feel stable at higher speeds in general. I have the confidence in my range to go just about anywhere in my area within 50 miles. So the wheel itself doesn't have any suspension, but I prefer that actually because it gives you more of a sporty race feel connected to the ground. It's been super reliable for me. I started in 2020 on an electric skateboard, and that was during COVID, so me and a bunch of buddies were always riding in the city, and we just loved e-boarding so much. You know, electric unicycles started looking cooler and cooler on Instagram and social media, so I started looking into that, and sure enough, there was one unicycle rider in my area. Got to try it one time and was like, I think I could handle this. So I bought a Nikola, went to an RS19 high speed. I started following August and Paul, and they were probably the reason why I started to think, okay, this is cool. This is something I want to get into. They push the boundaries of what it looks like and what you can do on an electric unicycle, but not only that, it made it feel like it was normalized and that it wasn't some sort of goofy activity or something silly. And they transformed the way that people look at micromobility in general. The Real Black Hercules, Yendis, he became friends with me on Instagram, and we had just gotten to talking. And I told him that, you know, I want to either create a group or be a part of a group that was similar to True One and promoting a positive message to, you know, having a community of like-minded people that want to express themselves as individuals, but be able to come together and create something even better, a community of people that are similar but unique in every way. Yendis asked me if I wanted to be a part of True to One, and I was like, of course, I want to be a part of this type of community. And from there, August and Paul both inspired me to push the same movement in my own community, and at that point had already had other riders that I knew would want to be a part of something special like this. What does True to One mean to me? It means being one with myself, being one with the machine that can get me from point A to point B in an enjoyable fashion. It means bringing people together and to also encourage and be a part of a community outside of True to One, and encourage anyone to do what they were designed to do, being true to themselves and following what their goals and dreams are.
So where do you think this whole thing is going to go? Like electric unicycles, PEVs in the world?
I see electric unicycles modeling what the motorcycle is to movies now.
Yeah, totally, right?
But with a unicycle, you have much more freedom of your hands, so that makes for a much more, bigger plate for things for you to work with when it comes to a film. So that's definitely something that we tapping into, and it's something that I see for the future of electric unicycles.
I think they're so unique that it can't help but be noticed. It catches the eye, kids come up, people want to take pictures, right? But the big thing is like how we move through the world. I mean, it's just like, to me, the future is micromobility. We got racing.
Absolutely, racing is gonna be the hallmark of electric unicycles, because it has untapped potential that no one has seen.
Yo, West Coast is killing it right now with the races, bro.
Absolutely.
AVS, Apple Valley Speedway.
Yeah, doubled in size in 1 year.
Yeah.
Insane. Insane.
All right, I got this. What about movies? I think Mission Impossible needs to put us in.
Oh my God, yes.
on.
We gotta see us in this. What we shooting now, Sentience, is gonna have a ripple effect like through productions. The movies, action films, even romances, just anything. It doesn't matter, man.
We want to be true to ourselves. We want to show up in the world as free people.
Yep.
And we want to be out there freeing other people. Free people.
Absolutely. You're right. And it's, and even though we don't see it, the ripples that we make in the world are phenomenal. So we got to continue to make the right decisions. And we got to keep everyone together. And we got to just look forward to the future.
Yeah, for real. And we're already doing that, man. So,
True to One, bro.
Bro, thank you.
Yeah.
True to One, to me, blah. Let me gather my thoughts.
Riding around New York City, and
yeah, I'd rather see my car. I mean, my car.
Wow. Wow. Just kidding.
Yeah. So what do we want people to learn from the documentary?
From the documentary?
Yeah.
All right. So.
You said it like you forgot we did one.
I know. We doing a documentary?
We are.
Yeah, I forgot
actually.
about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I wanted to know.
Oh shit! Do a switchback like jump off.
Ooh.
Is this shit recording?
It is recording. Yo.
Don't put that in bloopers. I cracked myself up.